In this class, let us talk about communications of details mentioned in GSTR 1. So we discussed that a businessman should file his GSTR 1. Then what happens? If you directly look at your textbook, your study material, it may get little complicated because they have used little complicated language and the same provision gets repeated in various other pages also. So here only let us understand this concept by taking an example. Whatever the example we are taking is only for the purpose of better understanding. In our example, there are two characters. One is Hrithik Roshan, one more is Kangna. Here Hrithik Roshan is the seller and Kangna is the buyer. Now, who has to file GSTR 1? The seller has to file it. So, Hrithik Roshan has to file GSTR 1. In our example, there are two characters, Hrithik and Kangana. Hrithik is the seller and Kangana is the buyer. Hrithik sold goods worth rupees 10 lakhs to Kangana. Now, who has to file GSTR 1? Hrithik is the seller, so he has to file GSTR 1. In GSTR 1, Hrithik writes sales made to Kangana 10 lakhs and clicks on the submit button. Once GSTR 1 is submitted, Kangana will receive a message. The message says purchases from Hrithik for 10 lakh rupees and she will have two options, either to accept it or to reject it. Let's say Kangana has accepted it, then there is no problem at all. Hrithik says he sold goods to Kangana and Kangana told she purchased goods from Hrithik. Real problem is when Kangana clicks on that reject button. Let's say Kangana clicked on the reject button. Now Hrithik will receive a message which says Kangana has rejected the transaction. Now Hrithik will have two options. If he selects option number 1, that is yes, I made a mistake, that means seller agreed that the sale transaction did not happen. In that case, the sale transaction will be removed from GSTR 1. On the other hand, let's say Hrithik selected the second option, that is no, I am right, Kangana is wrong. In this case, Hrithik is saying that he made sale of 10 lakh rupees to Kangana. But Kangana is saying that she did not buy anything from Hrithik. So there is a disagreement between seller and buyer. Who is right, who is wrong? That GST department will decide. But our discussion is, if there is a disagreement between seller and buyer, this disagreement is called as mismatch. So what is mismatch? Mismatch is nothing but disagreement between seller and buyer.